Our last topic in Unit 2 is something called endosymbiosis. You may have heard of symbiosis in middle school when we talk about animals that live closely together and they're two different species. So we could talk about sharks and remoras that live together in symbiosis. So that's symbiosis is something about living together, but you're two different species. Endo just means inside. So, because mitochondria and chloroplasts have their own DNA, have their own ribosomes, have their own enzymes, what is suspected is that mitochondria and chloroplasts used to be their own entity, their own small prokaryote that lived by itself. And eventually, it started to be engulfed into larger cells. And what would happen was that both cells would benefit from living together. So the mitochondria makes ATP and the cell gets to use the ATP. The mitochondrion gets to use the ATP, but the big cell is able to get the food for the mitochondrion. So everybody benefits. Same with the chloroplast. Some cells engulfed this cyanobacterium that does photosynthesis. And the host cell thought, wow, you can make sugar? And I have this other thing called a mitochondria that can make ATP. And if we all live together, then we all benefit. That's the kind of concept. Of course, we're not talking about cells having brains. It's just the idea that it works. And that's how chloroplasts and mitochondria ended up in eukaryotic cells. And since they contain their own DNA and their own ribosomes, and they actually even replicate themselves just like prokaryotes do. So they make their own copies of the organelles inside the cell. They are double membrane bound like a lot of bacteria are. So there's so many things about them that make us believe that, or scientists believe, that they used to be a bacteria in the past. And now they've been engulfed into this larger cell, and now that's how we got eukaryotic cells in a way. So that's the theory, endosymbiosis, and you can see the evidence, and you'll be asked to be able to recognize that evidence and explain it on the test.